Welcome back to the InnerView with Chiluveru, where we showcase innovative people with the bright ideas and great accomplishments. This is Viju Chiluveru, your host, and we are sitting in our studios in Atlanta, Georgia, United States. I have with me Nazeera Dawood, a dynamic and dashing personality, and she's a doctor by profession. Nazeera, good morning, and thank you for accepting the interview with me. It was a short notice, but you are so prepared. My very first question will be, you are a doctor, that's all I know about you. Doctors usually are very busy, they're not seen in public, but I see you in a lot of different events and you're in the news. So tell me a little bit about your profession and what you do and what's this public service about.
Sure, Viju, thank you first of all for giving me this opportunity. It's a very nice day today. It's a Saturday morning.
That's right.
And nice to talk about innovative, creative people
Sure.
With this interview. So kudos to you for doing this.
Thank you.
I'm originally from Tamil Nadu, a very small village. I was raised there in my childhood. And from the community that I come in, it's a very orthodox, close-knit community. Girls are not educated that much. Girls are always and women are always thought to be behind kitchen or in the kitchen.
How long was this? When you say orthodox, India is no longer orthodox. So
Sure.
if you're talking about 50 years ago, I would agree with you. But if you say about 25, 30 years ago, I don't agree with you. People have really come out and people started working, women. So I'm hearing something slightly different.
Sure. So this is like 40 years ago, in the sense that
You're talking about as a child?
Yes, as a child,
Okay.
as a child, yeah. And the thing is, because it was also religiously, they would have women inside to be raised as a family woman.
More of conservative.
Conservative values, yes. So huge conservative values. And at that time, I felt different. Because for a man even a man to finish high school and get into professional college was a huge accomplishment, and especially for women to come out even beyond 5th grade, 6th grade was unheard of. My mom had just gone for 3rd grade and then they stopped and they had her at home. So when I was 6, I said I'm going to take a different path, and I promised my mom that I'm going to be a doctor. And this is not a prestige or any title issue, but I wanted to serve the poor, and I was trying always to find, and even now, till now, I'm looking for a forum where the service can be the best and efficient and effective.
So service is in your blood. It appears like that. There are some people who are born with, okay, I am born for community. I am born for others, selfless. So you seem to be one of those actually. That's what caught my eyes, and then there we are. Okay.
So it's ironic that you say that, because someone I met in an airplane once said, "Is community service genetic?"
Right.
And they asked about my dad. I said, yeah, my dad has always been in social service.
Right.
He's volunteering as a leader in Red Cross.
Right.
And so I said, maybe that's more research is needed in people who do community service. Why do they do that at the risk of their name being tarnished? And why are they doing it? Why don't they just mind their own business, right?
Sure.
So it's a nice research we can look into. But back to your question as how I became a doctor, why did I change the norm? I am a person who never accepted status quo. I always believed in what can be than what is. So for that
No titles.
For that you have to take a different path.
Absolutely.
You have to choose a path that has not been paved before.
Right.
And for that there are so many bumps you have to cross. And if you have that purpose and the vision, all the things that come out, the negative forces are all sidelined.
True.
Because you know your vision, you know your purpose. So that was the purpose I went in, and it was hard to get into professional college because my brother was like, you're going to end up cutting onions for your husband, right? And then my grandpa was never for it, because he's like, what am I going to tell the community, that we're sending our girl to medical college?
True.
And except for my mom, who understood what it means when a woman is independent and has professional degree. She completely stood with me, and I actually have starved a week to get into professional.
Oh, I see. It's like fasting.
Yeah, I did.
Satyagraha.
Yeah, Satyagraha, at least you have something in the evening. I wasn't even doing that. So my grandpa said, to my dad, you better fly down to come and get her into medical school because she's going to die tomorrow. Sure. So I knew my purpose was very strong. I was very determined to convince them, and I think I got them convinced, and I became a doctor.
Okay. Stand by. Put it on stand. I'll explain to you something. Yeah. Nazeera, like you seem to be associated with Fulton County now. Fulton County is very huge and full of action. Like you have South Fulton, North Fulton. You're North Fulton and you're associated. Tell me your role and responsibilities and what exactly you do there. I want my audience, my viewers to know what exactly you're doing for the community.
Sure. So, Viju, thank you. That was a great question. So, before I joined Fulton County, I used to be at Emory University. I was doing clinical research, and then I wanted to do more in the community. I wanted to find the forum, and I thought the best part was being in the government to serve. So I joined as a health promotion program manager initially 5 years ago when I joined Fulton. And I was just, that was the best forum you can serve. You had the open doors to reach out to communities, knock on doors, be on the streets where people have never been before, and connect one-on-one with every person. And to an extent that even I was claimed as an OG. OG means an original gangster.
Oh my God.
So I would walk.
I must have been hearing about that. Okay.
So no, I'm a claimed OG. So I have OG friends. I tell people not to mess with me.
That's a good one.
So yeah, everybody is suffering. And I think in our world, in this era, social intelligence is not enough. We need to increase our social intelligence to understand the person next to us. And you never know, just a pat on the back brings their confidence back. It's not the money that solves, it's not the time you spend with them, just giving them some encouragement helps. And any person whom we see, we can offer that helps them. So I was focused at that time in my job on improving communities' health. Especially where chronic diseases such as heart disease and diabetes is on the rise,
right.
And asthma and communicable diseases such as HIV, AIDS is on the rise. So we were trying to see how we can involve the community to keep them engaged.
Right.
So they come up with ideas. So when I would start presentations previously, I would say, what are the 9 most dreadful words used in the English language in one sentence?
Correct.
People didn't know. So I would say, I'm from the government and I'm here to help. And they would all chuckle, because that was unheard of. But as they saw our efforts towards the end, they started chuckling less, because they saw how working with the government together and the community is making a lot of good strides.
That brings me to the next question. Recently, you took up an initiative, I think funded by CDC, Centers for Disease Control in Atlanta, and they gave you $9 million. So tell me about that initiative. Yeah. You already answered a part of my question actually. You said HIV, AIDS and asthma and all that. So that's what it is for. So tell me how it really functions and what you exactly do, and are you accountable for that funding, and do you have to report back to the government?
Sure. So this funding that came from CDC was an effort, the funding that was provided by the federal government on our efforts on coalitions. Mm-hmm. We built several coalitions. Coalitions are nothing but several stakeholders coming together to work on common shared goals, such as improving physical activity. I know sometimes we feel that why would you want to teach people how to do physical activity, how to eat healthy, but that's the reality.
True.
We get into so much priority of getting up, sending kids to school and going to work and mentally stressed that we don't find time for a healthy lifestyle, especially in our community, in our Asian communities. It's about my kid has to excel here, my kid has to go there, my kid has a piano class. We forget that we keep up with our normal cultural food that we mostly rice, carbohydrates.
Correct.
So we found a lot of this happening in many cultures.
Right.
So when we started bringing people together and applied for a grant, we did get awarded for $9 million for 3 years.
Good.
And I sort of helped facilitate and coordinate that with more than 400 or 500 organizations across Fulton County, even non-traditional partners came together. And yes, we are accountable. Since last year, I've moved from that role to the chairman's office as the deputy chief of staff. Chairman was very impressed with the work that we were doing, and he heard of my team's work and wanted more to do it from his office, where there'll be less red flags.
Commissioner Hausman has requested to be added on this proclamation along with Commissioners Edwards and Garner and myself. This is a great day, my friends. A lot of supporters who've come out. Whereas Fulton County government works tirelessly to foster the health and well-being of its citizens and engages in a conscientious commitment to create effective strategies and partnerships to promote good health. And whereas Dr. Nazeera Dawood is Program Manager of the Health Promotion Division of the Fulton County Department of Health and Wellness, combating the causes of chronic diseases to prevention and promoting wellness. Whereas Dr. Dawood astutely recognized the limitations of treating patients one by one and decided not simply to treat diseases, but to work to prevent diseases by educating citizens on the importance of making good health a priority. Whereas the strategy of building health coalitions consisting of over 350 organizations that encompasses people from neighborhoods and the private and public sectors to address high rates of asthma, diabetes, health disease, and establishment of a smoke-free Fulton has been spearheaded by Dr. Dawood.
So this funding that you got, or the initiative we are talking about, is it for immigrants alone, or doesn't matter?
It's for the entire Fulton County. So Fulton County has almost 1 million population. People are getting lung cancer because they're smoking. How do we promote prevention of smoking, and then how do we prevent asthma? How do we ask people to eat healthy to prevent heart disease? How do we promote prevention screening so they can identify what are the illnesses and can prevent? So this is for the entire Fulton County.
I would like to attend one of those seminars because that seems to be a very interesting forum. Let's get into the segment 2 of our interview, that is running for the council. Last year, I think in November, December, you were in the news. Every second day I hear about, hey, Nazeera Dawood. I see a lot of placards and posters and banners and stuff like that. So tell me what really inspired you to run for such an office. Like, it's a contested position, right? So it really, you need to be very bold and you need to have a lot of guts to run for such an office, I know. So tell me what inspired you, what were the challenges, and what did you learn out of that?
Sure. So there was this, everyone has this slight flame within themselves. It sort of burns in their stomach to be someone, to be something. And if you don't listen to that inner voice and to the inner flame, we'll be status quo, right? So sometimes to address that, you have to face that challenge. You have to come out and say what it is, because only then you are breaking the barrier. Otherwise, you're stuck in that small box. So my message to everybody, especially to your audience, is there's some voice in you that wants to be who you are. You have to follow that sometimes. It might be a drastic step you have to take in your career, in your personal life. So that's what I did. When I announced my position, was something that flame that burned within me, for the reason, if you're not at the table, you become the menu. And I've seen so much in government, I've seen so much happening in the community. When you're not a decision maker, someone else is taking the decisions for you.
I like that inner voice, that term inner voice is really good. Like something is telling you and you need to really listen to that and then go to the public. So what inspired you was the inner voice. And do you also believe in this statement, quote unquote, unless you hold a position in the government or a public service community, that people don't really care what you do? Do you believe in that? I don't believe. But do you believe in that?
So you have to either be a guide or you have to lead.
Okay. Guide or lead,
For that, you have to be either an influencer or you have to be a decision maker where you are an elected official. Right?
I hear you.
And from what I saw working for the government, I saw straight up that you have to be a decision maker for things to change. You and I can go into a community and change one by one, or you take up a position where you're changing a million population with policies.
Understood. Either of these two.
Either of these two.
Good, definitely. So, how can you involve in government and at the same time help the community? See, because you are now guided and you're in a box. Government tells you what you need to do. And earlier you were a free bird, you can do what you need to do. So my question is like, are your wings clipped when you took up a position in the government? Do you feel so?
In the previous position as the Health Promotion Program Manager, being at the Health Department, I realized there was a bureaucracy. Government has a bureaucracy.
Okay.
Coming from the Emory University.
You know you're on video, you're on public, right? Okay.
Coming from the Emory University, a professional environment,
Right.
where you were allowed to excel sometimes and flourish. I used the same background and my knowledge in the government,
Right.
to an extent where my well-wisher in the government, when I entered government for the first time, Fulton County was my first government experience, she said, Nazeera, with your knowledge and skills and talent, you can do so much for the people because you're not tainted yet.
Okay, understand now. So you're not influenced by the bureaucracy or red tape and that's what they saw and then they let you to confession. Okay, now coming to the Indian community, because I'm an Indian American and you are an Indian American, so this is a very relevant question and most of our viewers would be Indian American. So tell me a little bit about, let's talk generally about Indian community in Fulton County in general and specifically in Georgia. So are they involving themselves in decision making of the government? Do they connect with you? Do you connect with them a lot? I'm sure you do. But do you really take their opinion to the government and what has been happening so far?
Yeah. So when I moved to the chairman's office, as I got promoted to his office being the deputy chief of staff, I was in the perfect position.
Okay.
And because I realized that our Indian community, rightfully so, coming from India, they don't want anything to do with the government.
Correct.
We always keep a distance from the police force, we keep a distance from the court system, but sometimes we don't know that they are our saviors and they can help us come out of the situation, or they can help us improve our quality of life.
Totally. Absolutely.
Right? So I realized that, so I was trying to take the notion that government is not our enemy.
Okay.
You make the government. People say government. Who is the government?
We always
you and I are the government.
Yeah, absolutely. That's absolutely. I appreciate that.
People say, I want to keep up. No, so I ask people straightforward, who's the government? So you're saying just these 10 people rule the whole thing? No, you make the government.
That's right.
Kids don't know, the youth of today don't know that they are the power.
Correct.
People don't know that they are the power.
True.
They leave the power decision-making process to the government.
That's right.
So I tried to change that norm. I went and educated several seminars in all communities, conducted seminars representing Fulton County, and people started saying, oh, this is what Fulton County offers. To an extent, we have one lady who's helping with the volunteering. Someone asked her, why aren't you coming to the DeKalb County? And she said, no, because Fulton County opened the door for me.
Okay.
So it's just a matter of opening the door and guiding and giving people, and then people just start making it happen. Chairman's office now has at least 4 or 5 Indian Americans on the board.
True.
We didn't have that 6-7 months ago. So just telling them this is what it is, this is how you have to apply, people want to get involved. They want to offer us their service.
So the DeKalb people asking you to come to the government, that's a sign of popularity. That means you're becoming a celebrity, people want you, so that's good. That's good to hear.
Because I've always told it's not a 8 to 5 job. It's not a 9 to 5:30 job. I give my cell phone out so people in the community can call me anytime, because I think in the government it comes a responsibility. And when you're passionate, and it's like my passion is getting paid.
Nazeera, what do you think about our Indian community getting involved in government? I think we discussed about it very briefly earlier, but what are your views? What kind of message that you would like to give it to the community to involve so that our voice is heard and our problems can be solved?
Sure. So what I see, Viju, especially with our Indian community, is a mixed a notion of people sometimes staying in a comfort zone.
Correct.
Within their own culture, within their own group, within their own organization, within their own language speaking, and that's a comfort zone we all are comfortable with. But coming out of that comfort zone can help us accomplish our goals and objectives. Please note that I'm not saying we should not be in those zones.
Understand.
We need those zones to make some things happen, but we also need to connect and open up and broaden our outreach.
That's correct.
Right? With the other communities across, because we are in US, right? It's not just our language speaking people here.
It's a melting pot.
Exactly, exactly. So, and I also see some people who have come out and just belong everywhere.
Very tiny. Very numbers.
And the reason I'm saying this, yes, you're right, because when I'm working in the South, when I attend African American events, I'm the only Asian there.
That's correct.
When I come to the North and I'm attending Caucasian events, I see myself and hardly one or two Chinese.
Very little diversity that's going on at the moment.
And it's a two-way communication.
Sure.
Because we are in the US, as I ran for the campaign, I learned a lot.
Sure.
So the people on the other side are expecting or are thinking, why aren't we seeing them opening up? Because like I said, it's a two-way communication street. And we just remain in our own group, but they are thinking, do they need anything else to be invited? We already sent them an invite.
I understand.
But I always tell them, and this is what I told my campaign.
It's a paradigm.
In the
It's a
campaign,
paradigm.
I told in the campaign to all the leaders, I said, in our Indian community, you have to take a plate with flowers and some sweets to invite. That's when we're going to come. So I told them that's just who we are.
Oh.
And it's going to take a cultural shift. It's going to take a paradigm shift to come out of that zone.
True. Yeah.
So, Viju, instead of hitting just a bird with just one stone, I don't know if you'll be surprised if I tell you that the police officer and I have had several talks, and there are other issues going on in our community. Mental health issues. The police don't know there are so many mental health issues happening in your Indian community. How do we address that? We don't want to send anybody to jail.
Okay.
They exactly told me that. Can you help us connect that bridge?
So again, the conservative nature comes into picture when it comes to reporting to the police. Okay.
So they said they see mental health issues that has taken a turn till the worst, and then the police is informed. They're seeing many abuses happening till the end, when it takes a turn to the worst.
It becomes unbearable, then it goes to the
Then the
authorities.
911 is called.
No.
We could have stopped it earlier, Nazeera. Can you help us?
It's a taboo. In our Indian culture, it's a taboo to really tell your neighbors that my child has got autism or is challenged. That's wrong, actually. We need to grow.
And that's what I want to see. That's one of the second messages that I do want to give our audience is this is the 21st century.
Yes, absolutely.
We are not living in India. This is USA.
I'm on your side on this. We need to have a lot of seminars. Sorry, I interrupted you, but we need to have a lot of seminars and public meetings where people need to come out. They need to be educated. They need to be told that don't live alone. That's my message. Don't live alone. Just talk to your friends, talk to the community, talk to authorities, talk to government. Well, people change, people do change, but it will be slow, perhaps.
But at the cost of what? At cost of losing their happiness and peace, right? We are there in parties when there's celebration going on. Why are we not there in anyone's home when there's sadness? When there's a trouble going on, why do we stay away? You see what I mean? So this is the question I ask. The true community sticks together in all times.
Okay. So I think we are formally ending the real interview, the real serious interview. Anything about your personal life, family. You have two lovely kids. I met them.
I have an older daughter who's in North Carolina. She's in UNC Chapel Hill.
Good.
So I'm very proud of her because 18 years ago I did my master's in the same school.
Right.
She's joined public health.
Good.
And
Where is she now? Is that Chapel Hill?
Chapel Hill, UNC Chapel Hill.
Good.
And these two kids are going to Shaker Ag Elementary.
Good. They're very adorable.
Thank you so much.
Hey Nazeera, imagine that you are interviewing me and I am in your place, and then what will be one question that comes to your mind? What will be the first question that you'll ask me?
So knowing you for the brief period of you emceeing a few events and now during the interview, my question to you is you have the mic.
True.
And I think the power is with the person who has the mic.
Understand.
What do you do
True.
to empower and increase awareness in the community?
Right. So every waking moment of my life, I try to make a difference to someone's life. It can be letting out my emotions and making them laugh, or making them feel very comfortable, safe. If they are very younger to me, maybe a generation gap, I try to basically give them some unsolicited advice and suggestions, kind of thing. For example, my niece, she comes to our place quite often, and then I tell her, she is looking for a job, getting frustrated. I tell her, you don't need to, work hard. So I'm touching everybody's life, and I also organize this Maitri, Senior Citizens Forum, where I gather them and they let out their talent and skills, and they talk about their experiences. So that's one thing I do. And this is, in a way, is now, for example, now you're able to reach out thousands or even millions of people about your goals, about your ambitions, about what you can do the community. So that's what I do. At a micro level, I'm doing it, and definitely I want to do it in a very fashionable way, and I'm looking for partners. So I found you. I have some more people in mind, so we need to definitely have an informal forum, very intelligently reaching out people. You said that social intelligence. I learned that word today. That's really good. Like, people need to be aware of what they are, their power, their their rights. Again, as you said, there's a land of opportunities. We definitely need to grab every opportunity we have and make use of it. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
I didn't translate well, but I
No,
tried.
no, this is good, and I think if you can come back and break the roots and everything, I think it's about love and respect, irrespective of race, religion, caste, money. You're poor, you're rich, you have a home, no home, title, no title. I think it ultimately ends up to whether you respect and love a human.
Sure, thank you. Thank you very much, Nazeera, for this time and for the opportunity. Definitely. I may interview once again whenever there is an accomplishment, or when you take a new role. Let me know. Just give me a call and I'll come back and do it again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nazeera. Thank you so
Appreciate it
much.
very much.